Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. And this Grandstanders Live breaking news, Jamie Collins, who I love, as you know, who I'm still angry that he traded from, has re-signed with the New England Patriots. Probably on, would you think,
team-friendly contract.
You would imagine,
doubt.
right? Kind of a veteran minimum deal with a couple of $100,000 thrown in.
But who doesn't like a flashy playmaker? I'll take him anytime.
Yeah, you look.
Why are we getting him like at a low contract? I mean, he had a very good year last year, right?
No, he got an okay year. He got cut by the Cleveland Browns
because they couldn't afford him.
He was making too much money.
Yeah.
But he got paid, Joe, by the Cleveland
But
Browns,
why-
so he comes back happier, right?
Right.
Because that was the key for him, was to get paid.
And maybe he's a little more appreciative of his situation now.
Yeah, he's still only going to turn 30 years old, right? So, I mean, he's
Great
still a
athlete.
player that in certain situations can be very
He
effective.
can get another good contract if he like out of this.
Remember, the issue with him was that he wasn't with the program, right? He was freelancing. And I'm assuming right now that with Jamie Collins coming back on a team-friendly contract, he'll be with the program.
Yeah, that was the only knock on him.
No,
He
the
was
big knock was he was talking contract in the locker room.
Yeah, that and the freelancing. He wasn't buying into the system, and now he's been somewhere else, and maybe he appreciates the system a little more now.
But he's linebacker depth, and I think probably a
Absolutely.
third down specialist to rush the passer, who they don't have. And then you probably won't see Hightower in that role anymore.
I love his speed and athleticism. I always loved it.
By the way, there's probably still a 50% chance he doesn't make the team.
No, it is.
Right? Like, we all know this,
That's how it
right? Like,
works.
this is
You're right.
perfect. They
Yeah,
bring
we
these
already
guys
have Kyle
back.
Van Noy
Well, we
there.
don't have a dearth of speedy linebackers.
No, but we're kicking the tires, and it's a good kick.
why
You
not?
know,
Right?
when you thought there was nobody left on this, heap of
plenty of
NFL
guys
players,
left.
we seem to be plucking.
Oh, there's
some,
lots still
some
out
nice
there.
Sue
little
is still
stuff,
left.
and everyone's getting signed after that
That's
compensatory
right.
pick.
A Hall of Famer
Yeah.
is sitting out there, but he wants money.
Nagama can sue.
Yeah, right. Oh, I would love Sue in our team. Oh,
we
my
need a
God.
defensive tackle too.
Because he wouldn't
He's a
cause any
filthy
trouble,
son of
and
a
he's
bitch.
he's the
Right.
biggest guy in football.
Oh, he'd cause trouble.
No,
Yes.
he's
But you know,
absolutely
whenever
no.
he played the Patriots,
He
like,
would.
You think?
Yeah.
he was always silenced whenever he played the Patriots.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like,
Yeah, because you always
where is-
wanted to hurt
Well, it's
Tom Brady.
2-on-1, 3-on-1.
You don't change a player's nature. He'd cause trouble.
You
But
think-
it's just a matter, we'll just accept the trouble he causes.
But see him on the bench with during the Super Bowl, and next to all the other defensive linemen, and they look like jockeys.
Yeah,
think
in
it's
the
a-
Super Bowl, remember, they singled Donald and doubled Sue in
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Right.
That tells you what Belichick
He
thinks
has
of Sue.
got the largest arms.
Oh,
you'll ever
he's
see on a
freaking. That would be a great signing, right?
Could happen.
What do you
No,
think he's gonna
Albert
go for?
Hainsworth didn't really
Oh, yeah,
work out,
that
and
too.
it's
What's
got
What's
to
he
be.
gonna go for? What do you think he's?
I think
gonna
that-
sign?
He's not going to go for much.
He
if hasn't
loves
signed.
money, but he may just sit there and say, you know what? I'm better off with a pillow contract. I'll take $5 million from the Patriots, rebuild my value, and go sign a 3-year, $40 million
Unfortunately,
contract.
that's what he thought he was doing with the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll get even more
by the way,
exposure
he did
with
not
the
play
Patriots.
well with the Rams most of the year, and he played well in the playoffs, but he had a bad year. He had a good playoffs.
Wow. So it's going to be interesting. All right, we're going to go to the Bruins. Hey! All right, the Boston Bruins are up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe you heard one win away from the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's all Tuca all the time, except for one guy here on the panel. Nobody
Two
in our
guys.
5 years of
Two
doing this
guys.
show
Two guys.
hates an athlete more than Timmy hates Tuukka. Admit it.
I called it like I saw it this year. He didn't have a great. He's having an unbelievable playoff. And I will say this: you need a red hot goalie to win the Stanley Cup championship, and Tuukka is red hot right now.
Oki's not lucky.
And a little bit of luck involved. Hey, listen, that guy had an open net last night, and two guys had open nets last night.
Here he goes.
And it had nothing to do with Tuukka. I mean, Tuukka's playing great. I'm not going to take it away from him. You want me to take it away from him? I'm not going to take it away from him.
He's taking it away from him.
Just a little bit. Like there's
Well,
just a
remember,
little sort of.
if Tuukka went,
Remember, 2011, we hated Tim Thomas all year long too.
yeah, because he was a big mouth and
Well, you
stuff.
admit, though-
There was stuff off the field, off the ice.
No, you didn't see him stunk on the ice. Too.
Yes, if Tuukka wins,
He's going to win a
Stanley
Conn
Cup.
Smythe trophy.
You know,
Right.
Oh yeah, right now.
them
it's
missing the net
locked.
had nothing to do with Tuukka making great saves last night. They missed two bunnies.
But
that
isn't
they
it the
just
case,
missed.
though, Timmy, that when you're up against a great goalie over and over and over again, when you do get a chance, you're doing weird stuff,
I agree.
right? You're trying to
Right,
hit a little
yeah,
spot.
great
Like,
point.
And this
Yeah.
can't be so easy.
No.
I have to do something special.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
right.
he's going to be there.
I think that plays into it.
He's a positional goalie. He's not a dive around, flop around, magnificent save guy. He's all about position. And most of the year, he had his angles wrong. Guys were beating him from the top of the circle. And that should not happen to a top shelf NHL goalie. He has made some type of adjustment, and he's taken away even the shots that are hitting the post. It's because, it's going a half an inch outside of his pad, and it's hitting the post because of his great positioning.
Yeah,
Well, we
great
talked
point.
about Malott line for the 2011 team, and it's back the fourth line. I at one point texted Russ in the third period, can the fourth line play the rest of the game?
Oh, man. And he calls Sean Corrali a one-man cycle. When he gets going on the forecheck, no one can get the puck away from this guy.
It seemed, Joe, that the Hurricanes were intimidated by Corrali in the fourth line.
They were the only ones doing anything the first period and a half last night. The only ones that could contain them. Even Bergeron and Marchand would.
So,
Not-
Tim,
no
how much
shows.
of a loss is Wagner? It sounds like Wagner's going to be out for a bit.
He's playing great.
Yeah.
And it shows you the difference between hockey players, or the Bruins and the Celtics dynamic this year. You got Wagner diving in front of a puck, sacrificing his body, and you got Terry Rozier on the media
This
talking
is just
about
the Timmy hate club.
Talking
You
about
can't talk about Tuukka tonight.
talking about how he didn't get his this year. You know what I mean? You got Chris Wagner diving in front of
great
puck.
juxtaposition.
Often I compare Chris Wagner with Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
No, it just shows you the opposition of
Yeah,
these two
it's a
teams.
great- it's
This-
actually
No,
a great
it is a
point.
great
Yeah.
point. Well, look, effort. The Celtics gave none, and the Bruins give
Gave
it all.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we love the team, right?
So can
But
we spend the
Nola
rest of the
Chari's
show
gonna
bashing
come
Terry
back.
Rozier?
All right.
segment.
When we come
Next
to the
segment.
break, we're going to continue with the Boston Bruins.
How about Bobby Orr waving the flag? That was so.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Okay, we love to rip on any kind of mid-season deal and rip on the GM. And Don Sweeney has not had good history in this town making deals during the mid-season. But Marcus Johansson and Charlie Coyle, wow, literally the reason the Bruins are still playing are because of those two guys. Would you agree?
I had no idea that Johansson was as fast and quick as
He
he
snaps
is.
that shot off so quick. He had that little tiny window. I don't know if it wasn't a goal.
Yeah.
But there were two guys sticks just about to get to his stick, and he snapped that shot off and made the goalie make a tough save.
Joe, did you realize he was that good of a playmaker?
Well, I would like to have had him, Sweeney, take Danny Ainge by the ear and show him how you do things at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
Both of them have worked out extremely well.
And Coyle's size has just, I didn't realize,
And what did
Donato
they give
just
up?
didn't have.
Donato.
Coyle's size has become a factor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and-
he's using his size, fully.
And you had mentioned, Timmy, when they made the trade that Donato in the future, we may be feeling that loss. But come playoff time, Charlie Coyle was a better guy to be put in the
And we
third
needed
round.
him against Columbus. Columbus was
Oh,
a bunch
we
of big
had to have
bullies,
him.
and he was one of the guys on the team that could, he
Stand
was
up
a
to
big
them.
boy out there, and he could make it work. And I think Donato would have been getting crushed in that situation.
So, Russ, how much credit are we giving Bruce Cassidy? Because I don't think he gets any credit in this town, does
Well, no, I think he gets a fair amount of credit. People have warmed to this guy. He's as good as Cora is in the post game, in the pregame stuff. But what I give the guy a ton of credit for is he's been willing to play with lines. Take Pasta off, put him back on.
He hasn't
Moving
been afraid
Coyle
to
around.
hurt feelings.
He's not. He's like, you got to earn your spot, and if
See, I
you
think-
earn your spot, David Back has re-earned his spot on this team.
I think Brad Stevens was afraid to hurt feelings and step on toes.
Yeah.
This guy is not afraid to step
Nope.
on toes. Like up to the 9th floor with you for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Joe, he's had to work very hard with Brad Marchand, just making sure that Brad Marchand doesn't act like he's
Yeah,
6
just
years
mind your
old.
P's and Q's. But Cassidy deserves everything he gets because look at his record since he took over. It wasn't a very good team. It was a very dysfunctional team that closed.
Yeah, well, they
up, though.
fired the coach.
And I think he has the second best record only to Tampa Bay
Yeah, that's-
since he.
that's a great point.
What's really interesting about we're up 3-0 in a series that we have not gotten a ton out of our first line. in
No,
the series.
absolutely, yeah.
Not a ton. I mean, they've been horrible, but they're not setting the pace on scoring.
We're winning this. We've gotten this far with our depth. We're playing 4 full lines, and
That's
we're just
right.
wearing teams down. The other team, this series, is playing 4 defensemen, and we're playing 6 defensemen, and we're just wearing them down, man. Like the old Catholic Memorial days, they just keep rolling 4 lines
Yeah.
and just wear you down.
David Pastrnak was showing a little pulse at the end of the Columbus series, but feel like, although maybe the results haven't been completely there in the Hurricane series, he's playing much better.
He's not making mistakes.
Right. He's not
Oh, he
turning
looks
the puck
invested.
over.
in the
I think
game.
his hand was hurt. I really, that one play where he thought he had it on his stick, and he probably went about 4 or 5 feet without the. That was a field play. Like he
agree with
couldn't
him.
feel the puck on his stick. I think he was hurt. I think you're a hockey player. Your hand is hurt. I think it has an effect on you.
How close do you think he was to going up to the 9th floor? Which would have been a big move. That
Right
would have been
after
a
we
big
said
boy
it,
move by
though.
Bruce
By
Cassidy.
the way,
right?
if Achari had been healthy, they didn't have anybody to
Hey,
replace
they
him.
put him on the third line. He went from the first line to the third line. So
If you'd had a healthy
next
forward-
stop, 9th floor.
Right when he
could've
was on the
gone up.
cusp
Yeah.
of it, though, all of a sudden he was all over the score sheet.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes,
right
one-
when he started kind of coming back. But he has that talent, and it's a special talent of putting that puck over the goal line. And he has it.
How about the fact that Marchand has completely driven Justin Williams out of his mind?
He's totally in his head.
Did you see when he did that hook around his neck?
Yeah.
I mean, that should have been a 5-minute major. And he taunts this guy. How did he get away with that hook around the neck?
And Justin Williams had three penalties
Three
in the
penalties
first
in
I
the
thought he was
first
going to
period last
decapitate
night.
him.
Well, it was Krug that was the gadfly.
No, but
last night.
Marchand is the guy who set Williams off.
No question,
led
right.
it-
Yeah.
Game 2, Marchand, he
yeah,
snapped.
game 2,
Williams
yeah,
snapped.
last night.
And he had hell to pay last night.
That one play where if that stick had a sharp edge on it, he might have decapitated the guy. And Williams gets the penalty.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
Williams is 37 years old, played under the LA Kings when they won a Stanley
Lost his
Cup.
mind.
This guy is a very experienced player
Yeah.
to get that crazy. Marchand's doing his job. Now we just need a couple more goals by Marchand. Look,
Yeah.
he had the key
I'll
goal
tell you,
last
there's
night,
nothing
obviously.
that aggravates you more as a player than that guy that gives you the face wash as he's walking
Smelly
away
glove.
and gets away with it. You just want to kill him.
Yeah.
So Zdeno Chara, when we came back last week, we said that we never saw a slower guy on the NHL ice. Actually, he seems, Joe, to have picked it up
He's
in
been
these
better.
series.
Oh, did you see him stop the icing play a couple games
Yeah.
ago?
But he's actually been able to skate to the
He's
blue
been better.
line.
Yeah.
He's been better this series.
Yeah.
He's been exactly what they needed. What are they, 6-0 since he came back? And in the second game, they were getting croaked in the first period. Carolina was hitting everything but the number, right? They said so. Cassie sends him in 3 or 4 big hits. All of a sudden, Carolina's going home. It's 6-0 before they knew what hit him.
Chara would, if the Bruins could sweep or take it in 5, the Bruins would have probably a week's rest. That really would help.
I'll tell you, Chara took that one off that foot in the other series, and he was horrible the rest of the
He
game.
went down.
Yeah,
right.
But he was horrible the rest
Yeah,
of the
he was.
game.
Yeah.
But the guy still went out there. I mean, these guys are playing. Their bodies must be so beat up at this
Yeah.
point. This NHL playoffs are too long.
War of attrition.
So,
is.
all right. So I'm not impressed with either San Jose or St. Louis. In fact, last night at the post-game news conference with the coach of San Jose, he was ripping in them the whole time, saying they gave no effort. So
Is that series 1-1?
1-1.
Yeah.
Who are we rooting for, Timmy?
I think I'd like to play St. Louis just because we always seem to beat
We've
St.
done
Louis
well
teams.
against
You
Louis.
know what I mean?
Russ.
I'm a little afraid of San
We own
Jose.
them.
Yeah,
am.
I feel like San Jose could give us more of a trouble.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Can we call them the Cardinals if we get to play
Yeah,
them?
sure, why not? All right, after the break, we go to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, there's not.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, the draft lottery, probably actually more exciting than the NFL draft. That's how much fun that
No
was
doubt,
last
yeah.
night, right? Things, I guess, went well for the Celtics. The Grizzlies keep their pick for this year.
Yes.
Russ.
Yeah.
We didn't want it.
You didn't
Right,
want
we don't want
4
that.
No.
this year.
We don't
You
want
can't
three.
do. I mean, if you don't trade for AD and you have to pick 4 guys, you can't put 4 rookies on this team.
And the last thing Joey wanted was the Knicks to get Zion.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it beautiful?
Well, or Philly.
Yeah,
Or
right.
the-
Well,
or
yeah,
the
well,
Lakers,
that was a
please,
long
yeah.
shot. but-
Schadenfreude, joy of others.
Oh, my
misery.
God.
Yeah.
Knicks.
When it
Oh,
comes
the
to
Knicks
New York,
fans
we
are
have a
beside
Smith
themselves.
and Misery, I
Nick's
love
Twitter, I was on. I just searched Knicks on Twitter, and the videos of Knicks fans reacting to not getting Zion was just perfect because their hope was going up by the minute.
And they thought it was fixed, Joe.
Okay, well, the New York is just a sewer of their sports. Today they fired McCagnon, the general manager.
But they
of the
assumed,
Jets.
Russ, that this was fixed.
Oh, they
and
thought
that
it-
were
they
gonna
was-
get-
they thought it was
14%
wired.
was different than everyone
Yeah,
else's.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
Right, exactly right. Tim.
All right, so we have to go back to Timmy. His favorite player on the Celtics, Terry Rozier, was running his mouth all day on ESPN with every show possible, trying to throw the Celtics under the bus as much as possible.
He confirmed everything we were thinking that he was thinking.
Yeah.
All year. Put me in for 10 minutes and I'm going to get mine.
Yeah, but that's the irony of that. Watching him, it was the only guy that looked bad was Terry Rozier.
That's right. Yeah, I'm just amazed. I was the one who I was calling for Ainge to trade Rozier last year, and Timmy's way outstripped his hatred of Timmy Rozier from mine. I mean, I can't even hold a candle to this. I wanted the guy gone, and
I
Yeah,
thought
what's
the
up?
trade deadline, he would have been a good trip.
Man, if you
trip.
could have got a
Everything
first,
what we
could
don't
you have got a
want
first round pick?
he's
for him?
everything
Last
we don't,
sum-
what we
last
don't
summer,
want
maybe.
our Boston athletes to be. You know, we want our guys to be
Selfish.
team first. You
Exactly.
know
Yeah,
what
well,
I mean?
he's clearly the problem of the team may have been Terry Rozier, and he's going to be leaving. All right, this prediction, I don't have the Boston sports medium hat, but I'm going to tell you right now, my sources tell me that Danny Ainge will retire. Yeah,
In Austin?
absolutely. I don't know who's going to replace him, but Danny Ainge, look, the guy had his heart attack, his second. He couldn't even watch the games. Okay, this is not mild when the doctor tells
Wow.
you not to watch TV.
Although those
That's when
games-
they tell you what to do when you have a heart attack. Look, this is a guy that has to, he has a big family, has to worry about the
How many
future.
kids? How many kids?
He's got kids,
14,
grandkids,
I
and
don't
stuff.
know.
Look, we wanted
even
Gronkowski.
He's
Go
not even
forth
Irish.
and multiply.
Russ, we wanted Gronkowski to retire because his health,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to see him.
Right.
debilitate.
No doubt. I mean,
This
he's
is-
given everything that this franchise can expect. The great news is the Celtics have an assistant GM, Mike Zarin, who is probably the number one candidate for every open GM job.
Yeah.
And he's so committed to the Celtics, he doesn't even want to interview. So the Celtics are in. If Danny Ainge wants to sort of be kicked upstairs or take a consultant's role, the Celtics are fine with Mike Zarin.
And I got to give it to
Be
Dean.
like when Red became president.
Yeah.
He took this team from the ashes.
Yeah.
And put us into 2 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I got to give him all the credit. His job was to put the most talent on the floor as possible, and he did that. It wasn't a good mix of talent, and the personalities clashed, and it didn't work out the way we all wished. But he did his job.
Absolutely.
Very well.
Look, the next GM, I need Brad Stevens, Joe, to have more say in the personnel matters because
grow up here.
Look, no. The fact is that there's certain type of players that Brad likes to coach, other than other players. Then you need to get those type of players. Then if you're gonna have Brad as coach,
Yeah.
because this didn't work out this year.
No, very bad year for Brad, and even he admitted it. You got to give him an F for this year.
Look, was Brad's doing? Hayward undoing?
Well, look, there'd been whispers about the favoritism towards Hayward all year. I don't necessarily blame Brad, but it was clearly an organizational decision to start Hayward at the beginning of the year, and they never should have done that. They never should have had Hayward in the starting lineup at the beginning of the year.
I agree. Many issues. Having to walk on eggshells around Kyrie, Rozier leaving, Hayward coming back off this injury and not playing he was playing like a shadow of himself. There was a lot of issues that Brad had to deal with this year.
Okay, Kyrie, and the rumors 95% going to the Knicks. Okay, fine, go to the Knicks.
No, we can give him $10 million more than everyone else can.
But go to the
a year.
Knicks.
A lot more.
Okay,
Yeah.
really?
Like
fine.
50 million.
Go to the Knicks. And just be a car wreck there for the next 5
I have a
years.
bunch of friends who I sort of text with. They're actually Philly fans,
Yeah.
and they just think that Kyrie Irving is the perfect Knick.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect Knick, right? Just another guy, go
How
in,
about
get
sign
him.
and
James
trade?
Dolan, Nick.
Get his 30 points.
Sign
You
and
can't
trade.
do it.
We can't do it.
No.
What is a year?
You can sign and trade him into a team that doesn't have any cap space, but the teams that want him have plenty of cap space. The Knicks have plenty of cap space. The Lakers have
But
plenty
we
of cap
can
space.
give him $10 million more a year than
It
anyone
doesn't.
else can, right?
It doesn't. It actually doesn't work in year one like that. They can't. It's that's a loophole that they've.
See, thank
that
God
they've
the
closed.
professor is here to
Yes.
set us
Yeah.
straight
Absolutely.
with these
All right, I want Karl Anthony Towns. I've been telling you this all the time. I think he's the guy that you go out and inquire instead of AD because you'd have to pay a lot less. And I think in the Celtics system will be just as effective.
Kevin McHale was still there. We'd have him here on the
Now,
team.
do you think these rookies who did great last year, the younger group, rejuvenates themselves now and rise up now that Kyrie lives and
They're
get
not
back,
rookie. They weren't rookies.
No,
Yeah,
but get back to Brown and Tatum, get back to that upward progression that we saw them on.
Well, Jaylen Brown did progress. I mean,
Yeah, I thought
and Tatum probably kind of leveled out for us.
Yeah, if you look at
Two
their
steps forward, one step back.
if you look at their stats as second and third year players up against like the Kawhi Leonards of the world, they still way outpace where Leonard and those guys were. So they need room to grow. I think
Yeah.
Tim's right.
All right, after the break, we're going to go to the Boston Red Sox, and I lift up my head high other than last night.
Yeah, that was a tough.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Yeah, he's in the league. All right, boys, we go to the Boston Red Sox, and we're 22 and 20, and that's something we couldn't say that we were 2 games above 500, Russ.
No.
But Red Sox are playing well, but still have a lot of personnel issues.
You called it last week, and it's just even come more true in the past week. Is their bench is pitiful,
Maybe
right?
the worst bench in the history of
really,
baseball.
really pitiful, and they probably have 2 or 3 relievers have no business being on a major league team, much less a good major league team.
Yeah.
But we've closed the gap. We're over 500. Life's good.
Well, that just shows you how bad, Joe, the Major League Baseball is, because I counted 8 guys on the 25-man roster should not be on a Major League
I think
Baseball
there's
roster.
only 5 teams in the American League above 500.
That is a great point. Only 6 teams playing above
6?
500 in the American League. So, look, we're always going to be, in the wild card race, right?
This bullpen, though, it really concerns me. I mean, you know, you can get through the Baltimores of the world and whoever, you know, but when it really comes push to shove, we don't. Who's going to be the guy?
But what if we make the playoffs and just do what we did last year? The starters become rovers.
Well, I think that's where they're thinking.
You think that's how they're thinking?
Possibly. Craig Kimbrell now has come down on his expectations salary-wise. He said he'd take a similar deal to 3 years, $50 million, $40 million. If you could get Craig Kimbrell for $13 million, 3 years,
I'd take
$40
him.
million, would you do it?
Probably. It depends on when, though. You know, by the middle of the year, they really don't want to go over that next luxury tax line. But if you can get him on a great deal, I could see them doing it.
Would you like Craig Kimbrell
Yeah, I do.
back?
I still think, you know, like I said, you sit behind the plate. His ball sounds different hitting the mitt than all the other relievers. It comes in differently. I mean, obviously they got to him in the playoffs. He was tipping his pitches, whatever. I like him.
He had 5. He didn't have 5 blown saves last year during the season. I don't think we've already have Joe 5 blown saves.
You'll take him back in Brookline?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll take him back because we don't have
Street?
anyone better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they can work out the money somehow, maybe this means another trade to get some money off the books, it would be nice to get Steve Pearce off the books.
It's the big question mark on the Red Sox is that bullpen.
Okay, let's give props to the Boston Red Sox. It's almost my dream. The starting 9, when you put Chavis in there at times, can be homegrown. Oh my!
That's pretty amazing.
I don't know if that's
who would have to play first to be homegrown.
If you had Chavis at first base and Pedroia at second,
lineup. Yeah.
You'd have a whole homegrown
Very
lineup.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's the first time in the history of the Red Sox. It may very well.
It makes it so unusual that they're so far over the salary cap
you
and
got a
everything.
pitching staff. It's a pitching staff.
Yeah.
Getting $30 million.
No
each.
one's homegrown in the pitching staff.
No, but
Literally.
also you're paying some. You're paying Mookie $20 million. You're paying some guys.
Yeah.
But that's really. Wow.
Hats off to the scouting organization.
Absolutely. All right, one guy that didn't come up with the organization, Chris Sale. I guess we're not having to have him rush to be the closer right now.
No.
Chris Sale is who we thought he was going to be.
Thank God.
Well, my concern with Sale wasn't the beginning of the year. My concern with Sale has been September and October.
Right.
But we were worried.
We were,
Well,
absolutely.
we just signed on the dotted line for a 5-year,
because he'd always been good
$50 million deal. And I was genuinely concerned, is he damaged goods?
Well, he's a month or two behind where he should be, so maybe in his schedule, September will feel like August.
Let's hope.
Yeah, right.
Didn't work last year.
No, not at all.
But at least the radar gun, Joe, is showing that he's back.
Oh, yeah. And
I mean,
17 strikeouts in 7
This
innings.
organization seems to know what they're doing. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at it from the outside, and they seem to have their finger on the pulse of these guys.
Okay, I know the veneer's not off him yet, and I know we all like our shiny new little toys, but I'm telling you something, the most exciting player on the Boston Red Sox now is Michael Chavis. Would you agree?
He's terrific. He doesn't get cheated on anything. He had that little slump. He went 0 for 19. You thought, okay, here it comes. He's going to hit 220 for a month. And he came back and had 3 or 4 good games in a row.
Joe, Mitchie 2 bags is now Mitchie 4 bags. Every time he hits a home run, it's a clutch
Play
time.
him every night until, when does he fall off the cliff? In July always, like the end of July. Play him to death until then.
Because, Timmy, it's the old baseball card thing in baseball finally.
He's batting .235, but that .235 has been the
They're all
biggest
clutch
.235 you've
Highly
ever
productive.
seen any .235 hitter get,
No,
right?
it's absolutely true. All right. We're going to say it every week. Steve Pearce, he needs to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see nothing that even gives me a hint that he's going to break out of this.
I was saying to you on the way up that, he's not a good athlete, and sometimes guys who aren't good athletes lose a little bit of bat speed and don't have the athleticism to make up for it, and he just could be done.
Yeah. All right, Dave Dombrowski. I know he watches the show because he lives in Brookline, right, Joe?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he did. Okay. No, he used to.
Joe would know.
He was living in the beach house, the house of John Henry's, the
cabana
pool house,
which is bigger than my house,
like Dave Collins.
Yeah, right.
Bigger than
only had
all
4
of our
kitchens,
houses.
the pool house.
Yeah.
So we need relief help. We're not going to get by. Guys are all in the wrong spots. Bergier, Barnes, Workman, they're all in the wrong spots. How do you get together during the course of the season and work that?
I think you're probably a couple weeks away from the first trades going on, right? You'll see a reliever or two go sometime in a couple weeks, and
there's got to be. There's already stuff in the
getting
works.
close to June.
Now, you're thinking who's a big reliever out there on some team that's in the cellar already.
Right.
But how does that affect our salary cap?
Well, you just try to send some money out.
Yeah.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
Baltimore
a great.
had their yard sale last year, though, so there's probably not much left there. You have to look elsewhere.
That's a great segue, and I keep on saying, and you guys keep on ignoring me. In fact, silence. Rick Porcello is the guy to go right now. You would look, a National League team would love him right now, a contending team.
We already have somebody named Josh Smith starting games. Who the
Yeah,
hell is
we
going to
need
If
him.
once you get
Stadium.
Eovaldi and Price come back, you can afford to have
I thought
Rick
Evaldi was going to
Porcello.
be the closer.
Yeah, I thought
No, he's
Evaldi
not
was
right
the
now.
closer. You're confusing
Rick Porcello's
me.
not going to. No, I'm not confusing you. Rick Porcello.
He's obsessed with getting
is
rid of
not
Porcello.
is not going to.
Who's going to
play
start
next
games
year.
then? Is your
What are you talking about?
Velasquez going to start?
Oh,
guy
and there
in
was.
Maine.
Oh,
his
my
favorite
God,
guy in Maine.
absolutely.
There it is, there it
right.
is.
My Mexican
He pitches
league
3.5.
crush,
He's pitching-
Hector Velasquez, pitched again another
We're gonna
5
get
innings.
He got you to bring it up,
we're gonna
Jimmy.
get another
Absolutely.
great 4 innings out of Hector Velasquez.
That's what we do. You can a fifth starter with days off. You can definitely pull that off.
Okay, we'll see.
All right. I'm glad I got Hector Velasquez in. All right, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank the boys. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, William, the intern, handling everything.
He's a whiz kid.
With aplomb.
The whiz kid.
Exactly. He sure is. Thank God he's going to
We
give us
knew
all
him when.
jobs someday.
We knew him
All
when.
right, please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Here comes the circus.